right, shalom, shalom. This is Brother Moan coming to you again. Lord willing, this will be edifying to those of you who are tuning in. Before we get started, I'd like to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to teachers, elders, and apostles of Great Millstone, likewise, brothers, for know the truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep and deep brothers and sisters tuning in. Shalom. All right. It's an indoor camp lesson due to issues outside, let's put it that way, and nonetheless the message is still the same. Okay, prophesying against this wicked devil Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man, and always rebuking these coons that are trying to basically tell these Edomites and these other tribes, these dog tribes, that they will have a share in the heavenly kingdom, that they will have a part in our heritage, Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Okay, we know who those men out there. Okay, and they are part of those camps out there that are sold out to the so-called white man. In this last, you see, this man kingdom is falling. He's desperate, and the only thing he can do, is basically, look amongst the children of Israel, particularly men that are out there on the highway and the byway. And, they analyze you, they do a profile on different camps. And what they're looking for is certain keywords that's coming out of a certain man's mouth that they know that guy, he's willing to take a bribe. He's willing, to forget his integrity, and turn his back against his people, commit treason, commit treason just for the sake of having some sort of mediocre established presence here in Great Babylon, America. Let's go into the first scripture here. This is the book of Isaiah 40:7, and we're gonna start off with what the Lord actually really thinks about, these other tribes, these dog nations. And it reads, "All nations before him are as nothing." Now imagine that. He said nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing in vanity. You listen to that. That's a strong message to these other tribes. When we talk about the parable of Lazarus and the rich man, what would these other tribes describe us? They would describe us dogs. Dogs. What is a dog? A dog will gobble up anything. A dog is only loyal to whoever has food to give it. Your dog, if you have a dog, your dog would not take food from somebody else's hand. Very few dogs are trained like that. And those dogs that are, they're not. The dog inherently, is a gullible animal, right? It likes attention. It constantly wants to be reassured. And that's these other tribes. So right now, because Esau, the Edomite, the so-called white man, is in charge right now, which is his blessing, is to get everything by the sword, get the fatness of the earth. They're following him. When we're in charge, they're going to follow us. So right now everything is white in the heavenly kingdom. The new black is going to be the new white, so to speak. So they're counted as nothing. When we go into, let's talk about in fact, let's go to the book of John 6. Actually, let's go into Matthew 11, the book of Matthew 11. And let's look at that for a second before we go any further. This is the book of Matthew 11, and starting with let's go verse 27. Verse 27. The book of Matthew 11, starting verse 27, reads, "All things are delivered unto me of my Father." This is in red writing, so it's a Mashiach speaking here. "And no man knoweth the Son, but the Father. Neither knoweth any man the Father, save the Son, and he to whomsoever the Son will reveal him." So unless the Mashiach, unless Yahushai, who the word really called Jesus, has revealed you to the Father, you don't stand a chance in prayer, to enter into the kingdom. Okay? Only the elect is going to enter into the kingdom. You're going to have these other tribes that are going to go into the kingdom. Okay? But they have a particular purpose that they're going to be there for, starting with these Edomites. Okay? Esau. And Esau is not chosen, or the Edomites are not chosen, okay, to get this, what the father, what the son is going to do. It says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." You don't see Esau there or there heavy laden. You don't need rest. I mean, they're living it up here. Okay? They're living it up. And he says, "Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, and for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your soul." Okay, so the Lord Yahweh Shemashah is only dealing with the meek. He's only dealing with the meek. He's not dealing with the proud. And Esau is proud. This is the man that said he wants to exalt himself above the Most High. You know, he wants to sit on the throne amongst the great ones. Okay, and we see he's going in that direction right now. UK utilizing his AI technology. Okay, and they're doing as we speak. Okay, let's go into Jeremiah 14. Let's go into the book of Jeremiah 14, and starting with it's always crazy. Okay, and it's like it's spreading like a illness. Okay, amongst these men, you know, and I think it was the brother from GMS, Solomon Samuel, who came up with a beautiful lesson yesterday. He's talking about the fact that we are close to the finish line. And what you have is men that are deciding that they're gonna do a backtrack. Okay, they're gonna recant everything that they've spoken about. Okay, and he actually showed Wi-Fi putting up, you know, video clips, you know, of debates that they had out there on the highway and the byway concerning, but the titles that they're using, okay, it's an incriminating thing. Okay, are these men that stupid? Or they're being paid by Esau with guaranteed so-called protection from persecution or prosecution. Okay, when the time comes. Okay, I think it was today actually out in Australia. You had, I think it was either 8 or 11 of these Jewish people shot to death. Okay, so we don't know. You know, we don't know how this would. I mean, they're setting up a situation where, you know, this so-called anti-Semitism is going to be the thing, okay, where you can't speak against those small hats, you can't speak against those imposters out there in the land, okay, in our land, okay, because now all of a sudden now that's a hate crime, but it's global. So they're going to make a big deal about a few, okay, kikes that have been shot, and I don't condone murdering, okay, but let's face it, Esau, you're a hypocrite, because you have murdered millions of our people, millions, okay, from the tribe of Gad when you came here. Millions of so-called Negroes are being murdered by you. Millions of so-called Hispanic and Latinos are being murdered by you. You're going down right now in Venezuela, okay, in open water and killing fishermen and labeling them as terrorists or drug lords. Okay, the same drug that your operatives, your CIA operatives, or your 3-letter agency, they're the ones that does all the manufacturing and the distribution, okay, of the narcotics across this earth. And all these tribes right now, when you do enough analysis, or you watching enough of the alternative media, okay, not the BS that CNN and MSNBC and all those put out there to you. But when you look at these other nations, they're all suffering the same issues or plagues that Babylon is suffering. Okay, and this place is known as spiritual Sodom in Egypt, known as and also Great Babylon, America. They're suffering because they follow the ways of the whore. They follow the ways of this place. So yeah, they have drug problem, they have homelessness problem, they have all kinds of issues that's going on in these places because they follow. But nonetheless, let's go into Matthew chapter 11, starting verse 27, and it reads, Salakia. Let's go into, Jeremiah 14, and starting verse 13. And these were a few things I wrote down because I was thinking about this over the last couple of days of what I wanted to do for camp, and I really wanted to be out there on the highway and the byway, really outside. But you know, it was impossible today. It says, "Then said I, Lord, power. Behold, the prophets shall say unto them, Ye shall not see the sword, neither shall ye have famine, but I will give you a sure peace in this place." Okay, which is what these other camps are saying. Okay. Then the Lord, Yahweh Shemashah, said unto me, The prophets shall prophesy lies in my name. I sent them not, neither have I commanded them, neither spake unto them. They prophesy unto you a false vision and divination and a thing of naught and a deceit of their heart. So you get man right now, even though you have all of the historical context, okay, and media, books, whatever's out there that's been published, you know, which we were indoctrinated to accept slavery as well. Our people sold us into slavery. Oh, it was just something that happened a long time ago. It was not, you know, something that was meant to happen, but, you know, it was, you know, you people were the best workers. And that's a long time ago right now. Things are much better right now. Is it? Is it? Okay? And what you have right now is you have men that are colluding with this man, okay, which is not just an individual man, it's a government, that they realize now when they're looking at this Hebrew Israelite thing, you know, they try to label it as a movement. You know, it's almost like the Black Lives Matter movement or, you know, the civil rights movement. They're looking at it as a movement. And so this is some of the labels that we have. Or people will look and go, okay, it's some type of religion. You know, they're trying to reflect or deflect away from the fact that being a Hebrew Israelite is not a movement, it's not a religion, okay, it's a heritage, it's who we are. And it's amazing how you get people from our tribe, okay, and they could be tares, they could be tares, but you get people from our tribe that speak in the third person when they're referring to us. They speak in the third person. Those Hebrew Israelites. Oh, you're one of those Hebrew Israelites. Well, if your seed line goes, your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you're a Hebrew Israelite. Okay, you're a Hebrew Israelite. Doesn't matter what, you know, color you are. Okay, as they like to use black and white, which there's no black person, and I've never seen a white person in my life. But you get people in our tribe that are speaking in the third person. Those, and you see this happen for Jakes them who sell out. You know, they might be allowed to go into a certain country club or certain events that typically the so-called Negroes are not allowed to. They might have that exception. Okay, they get a pat on the shoulder. You know, they get a little grin. You know. And reassurance from Cracker Man that they're different from those. How many examples of betrayal that we have to see from the so-called white man to know that this man can never be trusted? Go ask Prince. Go ask Michael Jackson. Go ask Martin Luther King Coon. And the list goes on and on and on and on. All right? So, like the scriptures say, you know, roughly paraphrasing, if you have a need of thee, he will ask you what you want. They study. They know who are the true men of the Lord. They know who they can approach. Okay? So if they thought that they could approach any one of us, they would have already done it. They know they can't because why? We are the true prophets that's been raised up in these latter days. Okay? In fact, let's go into... let's go into John 15, the book of John 15, and starting with verse 18. And we need to understand this, okay? And you'll see that these men, okay, who are not standing up and doing the work that they're supposed to be doing, okay, they don't fit this. It says, if the world hates you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. And we have all the evidence, all the receipt of the world hating the true man of the Lord. Okay? Let's start off with YouTube, for example. Go and take a look into your video library. Take a picture of the video of the view counts, and then go back about two weeks later, and you will notice that the view count cuts down by 30 to 40%. The likes suddenly disappear because they use an algorithm that promotes the video. Okay, so we have a war, okay, against Esau's his technology, but this is part of that struggle, or part of that road that we have to take. The fact is that we're not popular, we're not liked, we've been labeled as racist, because how dare you Negroes, you Latinos and Hispanic and Native American, call yourself the sons and daughters of the Most High Yahweh Shemel Shai, or who the world always like to call God and Jesus. How dare you? How dare you? Now, to the world, they could accept the fact that we are God's children. They could accept that. But what they can't accept is that we are his people. They could accept it. Jesus loved everybody according to them. God loves everybody. John 3:16, that whole thing. So they use that because that context would always say, well, we are all God's children. Okay, so at some point in time, you're all going to get into heaven, or you're going to go to hell if you're a bad person. But when the way it really is that hell is a place on earth. Okay, it's a condition. It's a condition. We right now are in hell. Esau is in his heaven. Okay, and we're not talking about, your upper middle class, Edomites you see around that might still have a roof over their head. Because right now, coming towards the conclusion of 2025, these people live in RVs and scatter all over the place in disarray that you never thought in your life you would actually see a so-called white person in that situation. And we're not talking about some drug addict or crack addict. We're talking like people who actually have education, find themselves losing everything. This is going to get worse and worse and worse. We're talking about the elites. We're talking about the people, okay, who run a society. Okay, the big players. We're not even going to go to the level of the ones that we don't even see. Okay, those hidden lords. Okay, known as the elites. It says, if you are of the world, and the world would love his own, because you're not of the world, but I've chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hated you. So let's take a look at these guys that are getting 10,000 views in a matter of like 20 minutes when they upload their videos. Their algorithm, the algorithm is pushing their videos, and they're getting onto the masses, and it becomes a pride thing, because as soon as you start to make this ministry about how much views you get, how much likes you get, and how popular you are more likely to stray off the righteous path, because because it suddenly becomes about you and not about Yahweh Shemel Shai or Yahweh Shai. We're the glorified. We're the like in a movie Fantastic Four, where you have, before Galacticus will go to a planet to devour it, you had a herald. We're the herald of Yahweh Shai, because he's going to come and he's going to gobble up Esau. He's going to destroy the kingdom of Esau. Okay, which Esau basically he owns all the nations on this earth. Let's just put it that way. And Yahushua is going to devour, okay, Esau in our sight. We are going to see it, and we're going to love it. So Wi-Fi, One Body in Christ, whatever the hell their name is right now, IUIC, and all the rest of these guys, and whoever else are not part of the big top 4 or 5 deceptive prophets out there. Obviously, you're light for a purpose. Okay? So you haven't been called out of the world, because if you've been called out of the world, you would not be so easily you wouldn't have been able to, Esau would not have been able to so easily manipulate you to go and preach false doctrine. You have no fear of Yahweh Shema Shai. Y'all don't. Y'all are willingly doing this. But then, the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai set you up for this. It says, remember the word that I say unto you, the servant is no greater than his Lord. If they persecuted me, Yahweh Shai, they will also persecute you, us. If they've kept my saying, they will keep yours also. So only those that kept his saying are going to keep the saying that's coming out right now. So all of us who were in the world, whatever we was doing in the world, we heard it, we hearkened to it, and then here we are right now. Okay? So every brother that has a camera on, that is preaching this gospel, okay, the way it is intended to be preached, okay, is a fruit of another brother who did the labor of another brother and another brother and another brother, all the way up to, the original elders, okay? And henceforth you have right now a remnant of men that are steadfastly, okay, remaining faithful to Yahweh Shai. And it says, if I had not, it said, but all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin, but now they have no cloak for their sin. So you've been spoken to. How many times you have the elder brothers, them, the bishops, the priests, the apostles, them, rebuking these guys and say, look here, man, what are y'all doing? Okay? Even pulling the original videos where at some point they were speaking hard against this man. But all of a sudden, he can come in on our heritage. All of a sudden, the other tribes can come in on our heritage. Why are you willing to share? I open up the fact that Yahweh Shema Shai said that did nothing to him. He has a set of chosen people. In fact, let's go into Matthew 10 and verse 32, because again, if you're looking back, okay, actually, let's go into Malachi 1 verse 1. And let's talk about the state of Esau right now, because let's see, Malachi. Okay, this is the book of Malachi 1, verse 1. It reads, the burden of the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, to Israel by Malachi, Yahshua. I have loved you, said the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, who the word ignorantly called God and Jesus. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau, the Edomites, Jacob's brother, Jacob, 12 tribe of Israel? Said the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, yet I love Jacob, and I hated Esau. So if he hates Esau, why would he give Esau, why would he allow Esau to partake in the kingdom with the people that he loved? Jacob, who is the heritage. Huh? Why would he? He's not going to. He says, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. So it tells you right there what he's doing. He's taking action. So Lord Yahweh Shema Shai took action against Esau because he hates him. And he's going to take action against him, okay, through the Mashiach when he returns, because he hates him. Okay? And the action is negative. It says, whereas Edom, okay, said, we are impoverished, but we return and build the desolate places. Thus said the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shema Shai, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, had indignation forever. See that? So you hate him. You hate him. You have something against him. We are seeing it right now. Right now, nothing that this man does is working for him. The AI will get out there and it will be okay for a little bit. It will change the industry out there. We've seen on their way to implement this AI, they're destroying the infrastructure that they spent centuries building. What kind of idiot is that? This man is destroying centuries of establishments that they have created. in order to set himself up as a God on this earth. To know when you're sleeping, to know when you're good, to know when you're bad. Sound like the Santa Claus thing, right? But that's Esau, man. That's Esau. He wants to know everything. He's sick. All right? So right there, that should let you hypocritical prophets out there know, okay, well, you lying, deceiving, deceptive, weak-ass men, okay, that have our people scratching their head and wondering which way is which way is which way is right. How many times the elders and the teachers and the apostles of Great Millstone and likewise brothers have to tell you what we bring out is the right way. It seems simple enough. See, but that's the thing about it. See, you Jakes them, you can't deal with us boring men. See, we are boring. Because we're not gonna do any type of, cookie cutter show for you, or set up a table with crystal clear water or juice, gin and juice and cookies, and we're not doing all that. We ain't keep no doggone, we ain't doing no marching, keeping no damn festival or dance or rap off and stuff like that. Well, you don't think we have skills? You don't think we have assets or other things? You don't think brothers who are doing it the right way can ball if they wanted to? But that's part of the past. This ain't about glorifying any individual. Every brother here can sit down and talk about what they did or what they accomplished. Okay? Who cares? Who cares what you were? Okay? Mindful, we always have, we still live here, and we still have to pay the taxes and all this stuff. Okay? But there's a certain way we have to walk. This ain't about our glory. When the time comes that Mashiach is going to give us that. Okay? And it's actually going to be in this time. It's actually going to be, let me get another instant going here. It's going to be in this time right here, and the people are going to see, okay, the people that they thought were so powerful and so strong are not. I mean, let's say, for example, you could use in a simple way, you could use these Edomites. Now, these Edomites are real cocky, they're real confident, when they have a job and they can pay their bills and they can go wine and dine. And so that makes them basically very prideful. And this is the reason why, they're all caught off guard right now. They don't have a pot to piss in, they don't have no money saved up, nothing. Because they live lavishly. Imagine when you have a job that you're not qualified and you're making that money, they can travel, they have the tea parties, the fireplaces going and brimming, and they're real proud. And they look at Jake, working whatever. But see, the difference between them and us is that we were born into poverty, so we learn to adjust. You learn how to live within your means. In fact, you learn how to live way below your means. Just in case, just for the time come, when things go south, you're still there. And the Lord will put that spirit in certain men. Okay? And there's some of us who had, gambling addiction and all kinds of other addiction out there that, you've been down and out, homeless. So homeless ain't nothing new. Living in a car is nothing new, man. How many Jakes lived in a car or was homeless, so to speak, or socially displaced when this place was in its, at its highest, like in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s? Huh? These same Edomites, okay, these other tribes that are now facing hell in Great Babylon, America, I mean, they were prospering while Jake is constantly in a hellish state. Even if you're doing so good, or whatever the case is like that, it comes with a price. It comes with a price. You shake your head, you turn your head, you get a smirk and grin when Esau make the racist joke, make the racist joke. Nowadays with the advent of cell phone and hidden cameras and stuff like that, they're a little bit more careful. They became a little bit more careful with that because they saw the consequences of that. But prior to the cell phone, and people picking up the phone, recording, and being able to put it online, it was our word against theirs. And guess what? Those of you who are old enough, you could remember how much of that racist shit you tolerated just to keep a job. or a lot of these, or the racist crap that you tolerated, okay, just being you. So why should we have any type of compassion for these people that have no compassion for us, that show no mercy for? In fact, before I go into the next, let me bring up this precept. I like to go into Obadiah. Let's go into the book of Obadiah. Because we can see here where Esau showed no compassion for us. Why should we show compassion for them? Why do you dudes out there? I don't even want to call you a brother, man. Y'all are just dudes. Why you dudes out there want to show compassion for a man that showed none, for a set of people that showed none for you? None, these other tribes that showed no compassion for you. But let's talk about our real, our primary enemy, Esau, the Edomite, the so-called white man. Yeah, and I don't cut no slack for the cracker man. I don't. All right? This is Obadiah 1. And starting where it reads, "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob." Okay? Now keep in mind, I read, okay, earlier on about the fact that Esau and Jacob are brothers. Okay, you have two nations. You have the Edomites, who they call Caucasians and white people today. All right? And you have the Israelites, okay, which consists of two kingdoms. Basically, you have the southern kingdoms, which are the Negroes, who are the true biblical Jews, okay, from the tribe of Judah, Levi, and Benjamin. And then you have the Israelites, okay, which are, starting with Ephraim. Then you get Issachar, Naphtali, okay, Gad, and on and on and on, okay. In other words, they're the tribes with the good hair, okay, where the women have actually good hair, okay. And then you have the true Jews, okay, where, Eve, okay, which they're all Eve, all of them are Eve, but we're talking about the Judite woman, okay, she has to wear a mop on her head, to feel good, And the reason why they like to wear those long hairs is because that's what they had before the curses. They had nice, beautiful hair. So that spirit is on them to desire that. That's why they would wax their skull and perm a little bit of hair on their head and straighten it out and do all kinds of stuff until all they have is just a strand left, and now they have to glue a wig on because they don't even have any hair to even put on. They actually have bald. Okay, and that's a curse. That is a curse. Sitting with the man. The reason why you get Jakes so want to be bawling and have to be seen and be exalted is because we're gods, man. We're kings. We're used to that. We were used to that. So that spirit is still on Jake's except it's not in a way of righteousness in which you would use that as knowing who you are. Like, okay, well, I'm not so angry at my situation because I understand pursuant to Deuteronomy 28. It's a curse. I messed up. So this is the what I have to pay. I have to go through this stuff. Okay? So you have to repent. So you understand that you're a king, you're a god. But you're under a curse. You've been stripped of your royalness. You've been stripped of your powers. And we're cast into these flesh. Okay, of different sizes. Some of us are short, some of us are tall. Some have good health, some have shitty health. And a combination of others. Some of us have more money than others, whatever the case is like that. It's your walk, okay, that you've been put into. But at the end of the day, we repented and we're turning back to our power, Yahweh Shemashai. But then for others, they're trying to live it out. They're trying to live that kingly stature here in Great Babylon, America, which is the reason why they're so well. And how would you get that? Because right now is not the time for us to get that glory. It's not. This glory is for Yahushua. Yahushua is then when he gets his glory, okay, he's going to give us. Okay? He's going to give us. These guys want to get it ahead of time. They want to be loved by men. They want to be adored by men and women. So who can give you that power right now? Because it's not the time right now for us to get it, from Yahushua. Only Esau can give that, because now Esau is the god of this world. So Esau bestows those things that these dudes, as I like to call them, desire. Popularity. So they've been compromised. They've been compromised. So you can see it says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. So see, that don't read, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, okay, glory shall cover thee, and thou shalt be, light forever. No, it said you need to be cut off, man. It says, in the day that thou sittest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captives, his forces and foreigners entered his gate and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. So Esau pillaged us. He assisted in our capture, in our distribution across this earth. And he's maintaining that. The scariest thing right now for the so-called white man isn't an educated so-called black man, okay, or Latino, Hispanic man, through their universities or whatever. You can have all the degrees in the world. What did that get anybody? You got all they gave was depth. Depth. They didn't get anything. The greatest fear that these Edomites right now, and I'm not talking about you more than you low-level Edomites, because y'all ain't shit. We're talking about the elites, the short callers, is the fact that we know who we are. We're Yasharala. We know the true name of the power, Yahweh. Okay? We know the true name of the Redeemer, Yahweh Shai. And that scares the shit out of them. Every time we open up and we give the glory and honor to Yahweh Shai, these elites are pissing in their trousers. They realize those guys, we can't touch them. They can't be compromised. They're not compromised. We're not IUIC and Wi-Fi and the rest of them who's giving glory and honor to their God, Caesar Borgia, and whatever else they put out there. We don't pay compliment or tribute to Esau's God. We only speak, the ancient Paleo-Hebrew. We only give glory and honor to Yahweh Shai, the true power, and the true Redeemer. It says, thou shouldest not have entered the gate of my people in the day of their calamity, yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Okay, so in our judgment time, this man kicked us down even further. We will give it to him to build his empire in his kingdom, because these are cave people. Keep in mind, they have no skills, man. All the so-called white man brings to any place that he goes to is death. All he is death. He's anti-life. He promotes two men, two women cohabitating with each other. Okay? That's death. All the food is practically unedible. That's why you as the elders always say, pray over your food, man. I don't eat any meal in this house that I don't pray over. You got to pray over everything. We pray when we go out to eat, we pray over the food. We pray over anything we put in our mouth. Everything is an abomination here, man. We're sick. Everyone's sick. But yet still, the whole world will follow this doggone devil right to the very end. All right? Too proud. And that's a proud spirit that Esau has cast on a lot of people. The pride of life, so to speak. So you can see here, Esau is going to get a judgment because of what he did to us. Let's go into Ecclesiasticus 13. Ecclesiasticus 13. And starting with verse 6, because this man is a backstabber. You got to look at Esau for what he really is. And what he really is he is a backstabber. Okay? He's a backstabber, man. You can never be trusted. It defies the mind that you get guys that are actually, they're vouching for him. The thing is, y'all can't even, here's the deal, is y'all can't even vouch for Esau because Yahushua didn't even choose y'all. Our job is to go and what? He said, if you love me, feed my sheeps. That's a job right there. Okay? You can have man that stand boldly against those that afflict them, pursuing the wisdom of Solomon. And then the world is going to watch as those same men that they count as nothing ascend into the heaven. Beamed up, so to speak. Get the glory that these people crave for, unlike anything they've ever seen. But you man can say that. You can't promise Esau a share in the kingdom when, okay, you have the 144,000, the numerous 1/3, okay, which is going to be men, women, and children. They're not necessarily the prophets. Okay, you can have 144,000 kings crowned that is going to do the work on this earth. It ain't going to be just a time of chilling out and stuff like that. The earth has to be fixed. When Yahushua returns, he's returning in the middle of a nuclear war. Leading up to that nuclear war is going to be so much destruction and death. You think it's a Hollywood movie. And we're talking something in a very, very short time coming soon. People think, oh, that's 50 or 100 years from now, I'm not going to be dealing with that. Okay, so let's say if that was the case. What about your kids? What about your grandkids? You're not concerned about them? You see that? The selfish mindset of most people. Oh, that's not in our lifetime. Then it's going to be in somebody's lifetime. And we're telling you it's in your lifetime right now as we speak. It's sooner than you think. 2026 is going to be an interesting year. A very interesting year. Did you know that they have 6G coming out? First rollout is going to be 2028. That's why they're scrambling around right now to build these data centers. And these data centers, okay, is going to be what they're going to be using for their AI. So we're going to see cell phone, everything's going to be changing. Revolutionary. Go type in keyword G6 and it'll give you an idea exactly what G6 is all about. It makes G5, or 5G, I'm sorry, not G6, 6G, Sadakia, okay, is going to be significantly more powerful than 5G. And it's meant to autonomize everything on this earth. And think about it, 6 is the devil's number. That's why they say 6 feet. Stay away from each other 6 feet. 666. They love the word, they like 6. Okay, the new ballroom at the White House is 999 square, is going to be able to hold 999 people. When you flip it over upside down, it's 666. Come on. Okay. So 6, and I believe that that's going to be the last of their so-called 6G is going to be the last of it. It's going to be it. Because we already know that when they implement the mark of the beast and they implement all those things and they think they've got things going, which there's just going to be chaos on earth on a scale that is just incomprehensible. Okay? We know that the Lord Yahweh Shemashah is going to cast him down. When you think his belly is about to fall, and the book of Job talks about that. But let's go into Ecclesiasticus 13 and start at verse 6, and it reads, if you have a need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou? So clearly, he was able to figure out what IUIC want. They want to travel across the earth in plane physically and go into these different places as if that's a big deal. As if that's a big deal. What, you don't think brothers who's preaching right haven't traveled to many countries? Okay? We just don't sit down and talk about it because it's not about us. Brothers don't sit down and talk about it. They might mention a place or two, or it might have been part of their career or whatever the case is like that as a means to edify, but to sit down and go, well, let me show you my old passports and let me show you all the places I've been on the world map, and I've stayed in this 5-star hotel, that 5-star hotel, and ate this food and that food. This ain't about us. So we know they're doing it because they want people to see them as bigger than what they really are. Right now, we're slaves in this nation, man. We're low. Doesn't matter if your house is big or not. And we already know through 2nd Ezra 16. Okay, Psalm verse 69. and go all the way up to 74. We already know what is going to happen. In fact, we've seen it happen right now. Okay? Which talks about those angry mob that's coming after us. And it's already started on a small scale, but that's about to go to the next level. It says, and he will shame thee with his meats until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice, and at the last he will laugh thee to scorn afterward. When he seeth thee, he will forsake thee and shake his head at thee. Well, once he's already conquer you, they can laugh at your ass. And look what they did to P. Diddy. They used him up and then got him to go do the same thing what they did to him to other Jakes. So these faggot record executives demand P. Diddy bought them an endless supply of young men. Young men. Because these faggots, they're not into women. These powerful Edomites, they're not into women. They're into boys. These sickos, these faggots. See, true Jakes, if you're a powerful king, as a Jake, you look at King Solomon, he had what? A couple hundred wives and a couple thousand concubines. Jake likes vagina. Esau likes asshole. You see the difference? Jake, man, like vagina. Like pussy. Esau likes asshole. Man, he likes asshole. Sicko, man. Okay? A sicko. And we see it over and over and over and over. So they know who to go and use. They pop up certain people. The Mike Tysons. They like to pop up garbage, useless guys. So I think Mike Tyson now, he runs a marijuana field or some shit like that. Okay? But they pop up a guy like that because he is the poster boy of a man that has no boundaries. He'll tell you all the shit that he did. And what they did, they cleaned him up and they're using him, okay, so that Jason constantly stay in that light of, wow, if that guy who used to commit all these adulteries with other men, women, and do all these things and all that stuff, now he's in his 50s and he's doing well and all that stuff like that, and he's so popular. That gives Jake them the constant hope. Not of repent. They don't repent. Jake don't want to repent. Jake them look at these models, these guys, the Steve Harvey and these guys, as the way to go. Oh, you can make it here in Great Babylon, America. Oh, you can. But it's not happening. Because Esau only looks at a certain kind of man that he wants to deal with, that's of use to him. Probably 99% of Jakes is absolutely useless to Esau, other than they follow everything he says. So no, you're not going to be Michael Jordan. You're not going to be Shaquille O'Neal. You're not going to be those. In fact, the Lord Yahweh Shemashah made it very clear that they've gotten their consolation or their prize, basically with the reward on this side. So in the kingdom, they're not going to be anything. So for you guys that are sellouts, you're not even getting Shaq or Michael Jordan them type of money. You're not getting that. So Esau got you all cheap to turn your backs on the Lord, Yahweh Shai. So what does that say about you, man? Seriously, what does that say about you? That this man can get you that cheap? Because none of you are balling. You're not. Oh, you got a Mercedes. Well, big deal, dude. So there's a whole lot of brothers got Mercedes and all kinds of stuff, and did not sell out. Did it the way you were brought up in this kingdom, to just go work your ass off. Basically, that's it. And yet focus on doing the work diligently, with integrity and humility. Continuing, it says, beware that thou be not deceived and brought down into jollity, being all happy and go lucky. You should be very, very, when a white man is around you, okay? Now, we know there are Hebrews who like to look like white people, so-called white people, okay? And, it's, hey, let the Spirit speak. Let the Spirit speak. But I am yet to come across an Edomite that I felt that was a true Jake. They all had that demon on their ass. I am yet to come across one. So yes, when you're around these Edomites that are in the world, I'm very uncomfortable around them. I don't trust Esau. I don't trust the so-called white man. Nor do I trust any other tribe. And I don't trust most of Yasharala either. And I will scrutinize every single person I meet. It's just that simple. Because we are not in a time right now where you could be gullible. All right? This ain't no time to be gullible. Let's go to Hebrews 13. The book of Hebrews 13 and verse 9. Hebrews. I probably should wear my glasses. Hebrews 13 and verse 9, it reads, be not carried about with diverse and strange doctrines, for it is a good thing that the heart be established with grace, not with meats which have not profited them that have been occupied therein. Okay? Keep in mind that we were once in the world. You know, I used to look at that picture of white Jesus, and I mean, even from a kid, I kind of thought something just wasn't right about it, but I didn't know any better. Okay? So the only thing I could do, because I didn't believe in the Baptist church and the Anglican church and all that church that I was forced to go to, I used to skip. I used to leave the house and I go to church, but I used to go to the video game arcade room. Okay? I never used to go to church. I used to just skip out and then come back home when they think that church is over with, pretend like I've been to church. I never used to go to church. I didn't believe in that bullshit. I didn't believe in that tongue speaking crap, and I didn't believe in none of that shit. I thought different. And then every Sunday you holy, and then the rest of the week you just a demon. Right? So I never went to church like that. All right? But, and that didn't make me a saint either. Okay? It's just I needed proof of things. You know what I got the proof? That the Lord Yahweh Shemashai does exist and everything and all the things is when I came into this truth. Everything and all the question in my head was God answered. Everything God answered at that time. All right? So we're not to go into that, which is what these are, the confusion that these men are bringing, because people who've watched them before look and go, well, wait a minute, they were so against the so-called white man, but now all of a sudden now they're like, oh, they're buddy-buddy. That's confusing. That's confusing to our gullible people. Our people are very, our people are very gullible. So unless you are chosen from the foundation of earth to remain in this and be grounded, you're going to be caught up in all kinds of BS out there. All kinds of BS, okay? This is Ezekiel 34, verse 1 reads, and the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shemashai, came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the shepherds of Israel. Prophesy and say unto them, thus said the Lord, power unto the shepherds. Woe be to the shepherds of Israel that do feed themselves. Should not the shepherds feed the flocks? Yeah. So that's like you understand the ministry, you understand the truth, you understand, you know the name, you never glorify the name openly. You never correct people or tell people about the name, you know, of the Lord. Okay, Yahweh. Okay, the Son, Yahweh Shai. You know, talk about who the true prophets are. You know, talk about, okay, who the chosen people are, the 12 tribes. You know all of this stuff, but you don't divulge it to anybody. Now these guys, when they sit down, they talk, they know the true name of Yahweh Shemel Shai, and they also know who we really are. They know who Esau really is. But now, they're on a different path right now. They're on a different mission. They're on a mission for the devil, not for Yahweh Shemel Shai. They don't take the caps off their head when they speak or they pray. So they're no different than the Christian pastor out there that go there, you know, the Bible that he never opens up a read from, and just talk with this asshole for 3-4 hours. Pass around the collection plate, get a whole bunch of fat black, so-called black women in the church kitchen there making up the food, and everybody show up there because why? After you then get the hymns and the music playing and the feel good sermon, you go and you line up to go get your plate of macaroni and cheese with chicken, fried chicken, and some other crap. And they have access to your bank account to take out 20% of your post-tax money. And you people wonder why you're broke. Yes, so this guy is living it up. They ain't taking the money and investing. You people are not concerned what they're doing with the money. If you're putting your money into something, you should know what the hell the money is going to. Okay? You should know it. You should know what it's going to. But all you're looking for is to be entertained. Okay? So here it is right here. These shepherds, they're not feeding the flock. They're feeding themselves. Get rich quick scheme, selling t-shirts. Okay? And these are the ones that we see. We can't imagine the copycats out there that we're probably not able to see on YouTube yet because of the algorithm. Or we haven't looked at them. You're looking at the bigger ones. But you can see the attitude of the people that follow them. And now you have a whole host of Hebrew Israelites that doesn't matter whether it's coming from, you know, the real prophets or the false prophets. They hate. They just hate. They say the so-called Hebrew Israelite. That these are the ones that talk in that third person. And so you see these videos of complaining all the time and stuff like that. So that means that there's enough of the word that's getting out there to the point where it's irritating people because it requires a change. Imagine now you have an internal warfare that's going on in you. It's conflicting you. This is what you learn all your life. Sweet white Jesus, John 3:16. You could make an argument that you know good white so-called white people. You know good so-called Chinese people. You know good so-called Indian people. You know good so-called African people. Any of us can make that argument. But that's not the point. Because it's not our call. We can all make that argument, man. Yeah, that was the you know, my boss, you know, he gave me that bonus. He gave me an extra day off. Or, yeah, I know that's cool cat, man. And, you know, we all can make that. And that's emotion. That's an emotional way of thinking. And if you start going in that direction, you're going to get caught up in these false doctrines. You're going to get caught up in all of this shit. And then you can start to look and go, well, yeah, maybe, you know, there's good white people. They should be able to not get punished like the evil white people. Maybe only people like Hitler and Mussolini and these other guys. Maybe only them, or, you know, straight out like wicked killers, you know, and, you know, those people should go to hell, so to speak, or catch that, or not get in there. But, you know, hey, you know, Bob and Frank and Sue and Amy, you know, they were good people to me. They were good people. When you start to think like that, or that comes across your mind, always think about it the way Yahweh Shemel Shai works. He put the spirit in them to enact an act of kindness or goodness to you for your benefit, because he loves you. Okay? Your landlord might have given you a break or reduce your rent. Because when you went to ask him, like, could you reduce my rent, you know, for 6 or 7 months till I get, you know, back on my feet, you know, and the landlord might agree to that. Why do you think the landlord agreed to that? When you think about it, that's the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai working for you. He loves you to put the spirit in that landlord to reduce that rent. But what our people look at is they give the glory and honor to Esau. And that's the problem right there. They don't give it to Yahweh Shemel Shai. That the reason why you know, it's not luck. The reason why you might have gotten through that situation is because Yahweh Shemel Shai put all the pieces there. He put those particular people in your life at that particular time in your life because he already knew you were going to experience that hell. So he put the right set of people in your life so that you would make it through that. That's why he gets the glory and honor. That's how he works. Not Esau. There's nothing that shows that Esau is that caring or righteous. That's how you know the sweet white Jesus on the cross is all complete bullshit. There's no so-called white man or Edomites that have that kind of integrity or spirit or compassion or love for anyone to sacrifice themselves like that. Are you kidding? If they did, you wouldn't see the poverty on the streets right now in America or across this earth. You wouldn't see the shit that they're doing. That they have the ability and they have more than enough. That there shouldn't be any poor people here. And you see the fact that their people, his own people, are catching hell right now when this should be their heaven. So how dare you? How dare you, dudes, think that you're going to be the mediator to Yahweh Shemel Shai for this man to give him a pass on our heritage? That's wickedness, man. Absolute wickedness. Let's close out. Let's close out with Luke 12. I'm not going to make this too long. Let's close out with the book of Luke 12. And start with verse 2. It reads, "For there's nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Therefore, whatsoever you have spoken in darkness should be heard in light, and that which ye spoken in the air in closet should be proclaimed upon the housetop. And I say unto you, my friends, be not afraid of them that kill the body, and after that have no more that they can do." So you kill us, what else can you do? You put me to death, so what? Maybe one or two people might shed a tear for me. Okay, maybe. But, okay, you kill this flesh. Okay, my spirit still lives on. It goes back to the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai. That's it. It won't be the first time I've been put to death or die. Okay? It says, "But I will forewarn you whom ye shall fear. Fear him that which after he had killed have power to cast into hell. Yea, I say unto you, fear him." Esau, you need to fear Yahweh Shemel Shai. We fear Yahweh Shemel Shai because, take a look at it. In all our incarnation, we've been in a situation of hell for our disobedience. Now, there's different degrees. Okay? There's different degrees. But nonetheless, we're not rocking like the Bilderbergs and the Rockefellers. That's real wealth. That's the life. Okay? The people who own, like Chris Rock said, the people who own the color blue, that's it right there. They don't pay taxes. All right? They're so powerful, they set up kings and then and dictate. They determine when there's going to be a war, where there's going to be a war, how many people need to die. All of this. The breakdown of Great Babylon America, this is a systematic, it's being done slowly. It just goes to show you just how powerful, okay, the capital of Esau's kingdom is. That when they talk about 1,000 store closed, you think 1,000, man, that's a lot. In most countries that they would only have like 5 or 6 of that kind of store. Here, they get thousands. So either you guys are either afraid of what this man is going to do to you, which is bring that sword to you. And so now you're trying to ensure your safety, which there is no safety. There's no safety from the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai. If he deems you or a certain way that you're going to go, that's just the way it is. Yahweh Shai just said who you should fear. And this is the reason why we go and we preach without fear. We preach without fear because it's our job. Our job is to preach this word, okay, without fear. Actually, let's go into Revelation 21. Let's go to the book of Revelation 21. I'm not going to close up with that. Let's go Revelation 21. Let's talk about the kind of people that the Lord despises. This is Revelation 21, starting with verse 7. And it reads, "He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his power, and he shall be my son. But the fearful, scared of the white, so-called white man, scared of the opinion of people, the opinion of people in your household, okay? And unbelieving, you don't believe you're the true biblical Hebrew Israelite. You don't believe there's even a power above Esau. You don't believe Yahushua is coming back. Y'all don't even believe in the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip, even though it's already here. You don't believe in it. You don't believe that we're going to be the people that's going to be persecuted, okay, thrown in these internment camps all across Great Babylon, America. You don't believe that this man is just going to go there and kill Hebrew Israelite, just kill us in the street, like just kill us. That this place is going to get to a lawlessness point to where they're just going to just kill us in the street. You don't believe it. We've seen it all across the earth in these other nations. It's coming here. It's going to be real. There's going to be fear on men to the point of where they're going to be almost like women. So imagine the women. All these tough girls, all these boss ladies. Huh? It says, and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and adulterers and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burned with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Okay? So you don't like faggots, you don't like cowards. The Mashiach dealt with a whole lot of resentment, rebellion, the rebelliousness from his people, okay? From the Romans, all kinds of resistance, and eventually was crucified at the young age of 33. He was a 33-year-old Jake. His hair white like snow because he's so stressed out. He knew what his mission was. He knew. Jeremiah 51. This is the final. This is the. We're going to close over this. This is Jeremiah 51. And start verse 24. And it reads. Actually, let's go up a little further. Because let's go start with verse 19. It says, the portion of Jacob is not like them, for he's the form of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shemel Shai is his name. So we're different. We're special. We're the real deal. It says, thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, for with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. That's who we are. So for you ladies that think that we ain't shit, for you wives that think we ain't shit, or your husband who's doing this ministry ain't shit, just some blabbermouth wasting his time, okay? This is who we are. We're the battle axe of the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, whether you believe it or accept it or not. And all of you should get the fuck in order. Okay? It says, and with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider. And with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. See? Gods. With thee will I break in pieces man and woman. And with thee will I break in pieces old and young. And with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. So you people haven't dealt with actually true men. The first time people are actually going to deal with actually a true man is when the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai gave us our power. And this time, we're not going to compromise. We don't give a fuck if you're a baby, a child, a woman, a young lady, or a young man, or an old man, or an old lady. You're going to get the fucking order. It's just that simple. There ain't no compromise. Continuing, it says, and I will render, it says, and I also break in pieces thee, the shepherd and his flock, and with thee will I break in pieces husbandmen and his yoke of oxen, and with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. And I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all the evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, said the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai. Everything they've done to us. You think these Edomites are going to get away? Raping our men, raping our women, our children, murdering us, humiliating us. You think they're going to get away? You really think so? And you men, you dudes, you want them to get away with that? we're here to tell Esau, you're not going to get away. You're not getting away as we speak right now. Okay? Because the Lord right now is putting Deuteronomy 30 and 7 on your low-level peasants that you tricked or fooled into this so-called black and white thing so that they could focus their anger and their hate on us or have something to look at and say, oh, we're better than them. Because we already know how your system is. It's a case system. Okay? It's a social system that's based on wealth. And the majority of so-called white people are peasants. Straight up peasants. They have a peasant mind. They're peasants. All right? And it reads, behold, I am against the old destroying mountain, said the Lord Yahweh Shai, which destroys all the earth. And I will stretch out my hand upon thee, and roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain. So right there, again, it goes, I mean, we can bring it out again and again and again and again. The fact is, these other nations, especially the Edomites, are never going to get it on our inheritance. They do have a purpose in the kingdom, and that is to be our servants, our slaves. And Esau, okay, we've been commanded to give you double. Render to you double. Now, we're not going to do all those abominable things you did to us, like, screwing you, man, and all that stuff like that. But you're going to clean this earth up because it's going to be in a disarray from the nuclear war and also when Yahweh returns, okay, with the heavenly hosts, okay, you're going to be cleaned up. You're going to work your ass off. You're going to be forced to follow the holy days, okay? In the kingdom, faggotry or sodomy is punishable by death. And we know you're a natural sodomite, so it's going to be really hard for y'all. Y'all going to have a hard time getting away from what y'all are used to. And you other tribes, okay, you gooks out there that live to be 100, 110, eating octopus and all kinds of abomination, that's going to be forbidden. And your lifespan is going to get cut down dramatically if you disobey the laws that's going to be set. Okay? The heavenly kingdom is going to be ruled with a rod of iron. There ain't going to be no tolerance for no bullshit. There ain't going to be no compromise. There ain't going to be no voting system. It's going to be just pure obedience or else. That's what the true man of the Lord, that's what we desire, and that's what we're telling you, whether you believe it or not. At the close, I give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, all willing and elect was edified. Shalom.